My name is Ito Shinji, and I live in Tokyo. My days are spent at school or working in my local convenience store. But lately, my quiet life has not been going how I envisioned it. Strange things are starting to happen. A couple of days ago, I was working the night shift. It'd been a long day. I had been up since 3 a.m. studying for a big exam, and now I had to work until 1 a.m. I could feel my body was aching from lack of sleep. I longed to find a quiet corner in the store and have a nap. I was busy stacking shelves when I heard the doorbell chime. It seemed like someone had entered the store. Turning my face towards the door, I placed my hands beside my thighs and bowed deeply. "Welcome. How may I assist you?" I tried to sound happy, but I could hear a hint of exhaustion in my voice. There was silence, no response at all. Tentatively, I looked up in confusion as I saw there was no one inside the store. Empty rows met my glance. I looked towards the sliding doors at the front of the store, and there was a girl standing there. She was dressed in a navy blue kimono. A bright red obi tied the kimono closed. Dark blue trim surrounded the edges of her clothes with some fine golden thread, making small patterns that I couldn't distinguish in the dark. Jet black hair covered her face, obscuring all her facial features, which gave an air of creepiness to this girl. Her face was turned down. She was staring at the ground. The chime of the automatic door sounded again and again, but the doors didn't move. She just stood there, motionless, and the door kept singing its welcoming tune. I called out to her, but she didn't move a muscle. She just kept staring at the ground. "Sorry, I think the door is broken. You might have to try the store down the road," I managed to call out. My voice was a bit shaky and uncertain. I didn't know what to do. She just stood there. It was creepy as all hell. I turned my head from her and back to the shelf that I was stacking. After a few minutes, the chime finally stopped. Uneasily, I turned my head back towards the door. I had a feeling that I shouldn't look, and maybe I should run to the back of the store and hide. She was gone. There should have been a sense of relief, but there wasn't. My senses felt like they were off the chart. I could hear and feel everything in such detail. I'm sure I could have heard a mouse cough. That uneasy feeling was getting stronger and stronger by the moment. I could feel the girl's eyes on my back. They were burning into me. It was painful to stand there. I was just being stupid, I tried to tell myself. There's no one there. She must have got sick of standing there, and she left. My mind was playing tricks on me. What else could it be? I spun around and looked at the door. Once again, the girl wasn't there. There was a loud crack as my hand slapped my face. "You're being a fool, Shinji. Stop it." I cursed myself as I turned back to restacking the shelf. Reaching down, I picked up a packet of instant ramen and placed it back on the shelf, and that's when I saw it. Black eyes. A pair of black eyes were staring at me from a crack in between the shelves. There was no emotion in them, only a sense of hunger. "I have found you, Onni-Chan. Now it's your turn to find me." The soft voice echoed from the crack between the shelves. Instinctively, I jumped backwards, and those eyes never left mine, not even for a single moment. I blinked, trying to banish those dark, empty flesh pits from my mind. Thankfully, when I reopened them, those black orbs were gone. Only a faint whisper echoed through the air. "Now it's your turn to find me." I must be tired, I thought in a panic. There was no way that this kind of thing was possible. I didn't even wait to finish work. I grabbed the store keys and locked up the front door and left. I didn't even bother to turn the lights off. I just started to walk home. There must have been a storm earlier. The streets were still damp. There was a few puddles that reflected a sad pink and green neon off their surfaces. What the hell did she mean? To find her? What's that all about? God damn, I must be tired. As I approached my home, the stairs leading to my apartment seemed longer than what I remembered. Each footstep echoed off the surrounding buildings, filling me with even more dread. Sliding the key into the door handle, it clicked softly as the tumblers fell into place. The handle turned as the door started to open. For a split second, I was sure that those same eyes were staring at me from the crack in between the door and the frame. That sinister aura radiated from the gap between the door. Slipping my shoes off, I stepped into my small apartment. I slumbered past the small kitchenette and living area. My bedroom was beckoning me forward. I didn't even bother to get changed. I fell forward and the soft mattress rushed up to meet me. Pure heaven. My weary eyes closed and I was fading into the distance when I heard a girl whispering in my ear, "You are not trying to find me, Onni-Chan." My eyes shut open with a crack. Who had said that? I'm being foolish. Sleep did come, but it wouldn't be restful. "Next time you see me, it'll be your last," a voice whispered with urgency. Groggily, I opened my eyes and looked around my room. I couldn't see where the voice had come from. Indeed, it had to be a dream, or maybe I was just broken from all the hard work. Who are you?" I managed to whisper hoarsely. Each word felt coarse in my dry mouth. "Come and play with me, Onni-Chan. I want to play with you. Please, come and play with me," the voice called back playfully. It wasn't a dream. Instinctively, I pulled the cover over my head. A wordless prayer escaped my lips. I called out for someone, anyone. Someone had to save me. "Onni-Chan, when you find me, we can play forever and ever. Wouldn't you like that, Onni-Chan?" She giggled as she spoke. I could feel the warm tears flooding my eyes. The heat stung my face as the tears rolled down my cheeks. "Onni-Chan, where are you? I'm lonely. Come play with me." Her voice was starting to sound impatient. What I had done to deserve this? I was a hard worker and a good student. Sobs racked my body as I tried to reason why this girl had come after me. I couldn't take it anymore. I could feel my mind twisting and straining under the pressure. I just couldn't take it. I was at my breaking point. Without warning, the blanket was torn off me violently. It flew across the room like a blind pigeon, searching for a place to rest. It hit the wall with a solid thud. I knew where the voice had come from. Turning my body ever so slightly, I leaned my head over the edge of the bed. "Onni-Chan, you found me," the girl giggled. The girl from the store was staring at me. Her eyes were completely black. Not a speck of colour, only darkness. The abyss was staring at me and trying to drag me inside. She smiled at me, and rows of pointed teeth grinned back at me. They were stained a rusty brown. I could only hope it wasn't what I thought it was. I had never been so horrified in my life. "Onni-Chan, let's play. Let's go play forever," she said as her black tongue licked her lips. A pair of marble white hands reached out for me. Her fingers grasped me by the shoulders, and I could feel her long, black fingernails starting to dig into my flesh. I started to scream as she broke the skin. Her lips twisted into a sardonic grin as she flicked her wrist, and I was no longer in my bed. I was thrown with such force I didn't even know that I'd hit the window until my body slid down the wall. A sharp pain started to radiate through my arm. I felt something sticking out of it, and my eyes opened wide in panic as a large sliver of glass protruded out of my forearm. I must have been in shock, because I started to think it looked like the glass had always been there, almost like it belonged there. A red puddle started to form around the glass and flowed outwards along my arm before it started to drip slowly onto the ground. It must have severed an artery. There was not much time left. Somehow, I managed to stagger to my feet. It took far too much strength to stand, but I knew I had to do something. The girl started to writhe under my bed, slithering like a snake towards me. Her sick smile taunted me. She seemed to float upwards onto her feet, and she stood there, mocking me. "Oni-Chan, come here. It's time to go home," she said as she outstretched her arms, offering a warm embrace. Grabbing my arm tightly, I turned and started to run out of the room. I didn't have time to think. I needed to escape. A shrill laugh echoed from behind me, and she screamed, "Oni-Chan, you can't hide from me." Somehow, I managed to get out of the apartment. I needed to get to a hospital, or else. Weakness was spreading throughout my body. Each step felt like I was running through clay. My feet were sticking to the ground. It was so much effort to move now. I wasn't gonna make it. Rounding a small alleyway, I collapsed onto a bag of garbage. I didn't care anymore. My time was up. In the distance, I could hear the echoing footsteps. They were booming in my ears, and I knew she was getting closer and closer. "Oni-Chan, I found you," she squealed in joy. Her shadow crept around the corner, seeming to pull all darkness towards it. Her small frame approached me. No longer did she seem like a girl, but now she was something much more sinister. She stepped in front of me, standing mere feet from me, with a sick smile on her face. "Let's go, Oni-Chan. You will love hell," she said, jumping up and down like an excited puppy. I believed her. I knew she was going to take me to hell, but how could I stop her? There was only one thing I could do. Grabbing the glass, I could feel its coldness between my fingers, and with as much effort as I could muster, I pulled it up my arm, trying to hasten my end. "Oni-Chan, stop it! You are going to come and play with me," she screamed as her hands reached out towards my arm. Coldness started to radiate throughout my body. It was pleasant, but deep down, I knew it was the only way to escape this beast. I had to be free of her, or else. She started to fade from my sight, and coldness flowed into my body. I looked in her direction, but I couldn't see her anymore. I couldn't even hear her tormenting voice. I was free from her sick, twisted game. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's lullaby. If you enjoy my content, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, dear viewer, make sure not to look between the cracks.